Hello, hello. So, let me just open the window here. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you all had a very nice day thus far. Um, if I may say so, I certainly did. Not the worst day, at least, Little bit of injury too, but nothing serious. Okay, let me just check here a little bit with the audio here. Because I've been kind of playing around with it a little bit here. We'll see if it makes any tangible difference. Hmm. All right. Let me just make the music a bit more quiet here. Something like this, maybe? I don't know. Let me just check with the audio on stream. All right. Um, we'll see how much we peak here. Seems okay-ish for now. Hmm. Okay. Well, I kind of figured we could continue on with our traced painting here. We'll see if anything comes of it. We'll try. We'll try a little bit. Nothing too crazy. Just a little bit of, you know, like value studies, I guess. I think. Okay. I want this. I wonder if there's like an easier way to do this. What I specifically mean is just something to help me snap on, because this like fill in whatever tool, whatever it's called, I don't even know what this brush is. Shapes fill brush. It's kind of difficult to control actually. Like I'm a lot more wobbly with my lines than I usually am, which kind of sucks, but it's nothing too serious, I don't think. You know, we'll see. Maybe we'll figure something out at some point. Let me just get my drawing glove here, though. Okay. A little bit of back pain because of some heavy lifting. All right. I have to admit, I haven't really been following the Hello Girls recently all too much. I just didn't, I just didn't find the time for it, unfortunately. Occasionally, I pop into Shiori's um, you know, scheduled stream chat. I don't know what to call it. There even is a specific name for it or whatever. No, talk to people. That's always fun. Just you know, not always the time, unfortunately. Not always the time. Okay, I see. I have at least finished watching Frieren. So, yeah. I had some stronger opinions yesterday when I actually, finished watching it. But I forgot some of the better like critiques, I guess you could say. But either way, I would certainly rank it in like the top three, like in this specific genre, like fantasy. I would also put isekai in there because they usually are, fantasy um, themed on top of someone dying. Certainly top three. I would say Dungeon Meshi and Mushoku Tensei, or Jobless Reincarnation, right? Are like fighting for first place. I'm not too sure which one of those two goes into first place, but I'm pretty sure about Frieren being like third place. Pretty certain about that one. I have nothing beyond that though. Nothing in particular. Like, because most of these types of like fantasy shows aren't exactly memorable. They kind of all follow a similar formula and, rarely do anything particularly interesting that you would want to remember. So it is what it is. Happens. You know. But I would certainly say, like, good third place for Freerun. It's just some things about the world that I personally don't like, you know, that I have to say just make it less good of a show. Or at least, worse than Mushoku Tensei or um, Dungeon Meshi, right? Nothing too, horrendous or anything. It's not too egregious of an issue, really. Just some minor nitpicking, you know. You know how it is. But either way, I really enjoyed watching it. I was kind of, put off by the whole um, all powerful characters are women thing. It's just kind of, I don't know, it's kind of weird. But at least there is like some sort of explanation for it. Or rather, not really explanation, but, most of them are elves, at least. So it's kind of, it's a bit too on the nose for me personally. But I guess that's just how the author wanted to do it. I don't know. It's not, at least they didn't make any sort of like, how should I say this? Mm, obvious, like, uh, how should I say this, derogatory statements. No, like a less harsh word. They didn't try to put men down in the process, though kind of stealing the whole entire point of a man. But, it's not as egregious as some other shows have done it. It's not as bad as Rings of Power, like by a long shot, like for obvious reasons, because the characters are actually likable. I really liked what they did when the cleric, like cleric, the cleric joined the party, and just the relationship between Stark and Fern. I really enjoyed the writing in those scenes. Like it's a very subtle way of doing this, a very nice subtle way, and just the way Fern is written in these like scenes, where we are kind of exploring the relationship between Fern and Stark, right? Just the way she's written, very believable, very very likable. Very likable woman character, female character, I guess. So yeah. Hmm. I guess just erasing this would be fine. This is so weird how I split this. Like, it's so weird. Why did I do this? Of all things, this way. It's so weird. It's so weird. But it works. It's really nice. Could be a lot worse. I don't know. I can't really put into words just the level of skill. Personally, I think it required to write a character like this. Or a bunch of characters, really. Although, Frieren was more like a supporting character. It's really mostly all about Fern and Stark. So, it is whatever. Perfectly fine for that. Alright. This seems a lot better already, actually. Yep, I like this a lot more. Hmm. Now I also want to do. I don't know. This form is a bit too weird for me. I don't like this. I'll do something else here. I think maybe. I don't know yet. I don't know yet actually. I'm looking at it. Also, this doesn't quite work out. Hmm? That's one weird way of drawing, I have to say. I definitely have to be more careful about how I like use layers, because this is holy shit. Like after seeing how I handled the layers in this painting, you need Jesus. Unironically. You need to seek a greater power to believe in, you know? Because this is insane. it's, it's like, you know, reading some script. Reading? What the fuck? What? What the hell? Reading. Reading. I meant reading. It's like kind of like reading some script written by some like outer god, you know. If you just glance at it, you go insane. Kind of like that, you know. This is so weird. And what about you? Okay, you have this slide like roof thing. That's not too bad here, actually. A lot of erasing today, I guess. It's just functions. How did I do this? How? What? Who? Who draws like this? What the hell, man? I guess I do, but what the fuck is this? Okay. We just want to refine the forms wherever we can to make it more readable what's happening to the forms. Because if they are like, you know, too inaccurate or just the edges don't quite line up, those things, you know, what the hell? End up sabotaging you. What? What did I do here? What the fuck is happening? Okay, this is the wrong one. Let's just take this. I'm so confused. I must have been quite out of it yesterday, huh? Like, what? It's kind of like a miracle that I even drew yesterday, huh? I kind of want to make this a point, you know, just for my own sake. To not, you know, slack off in this regard, because I really want to improve. And unless it's something like serious and outside of my control, that's just sometimes how the world works, you know. But if I can do something about it, something about, you know, essentially what is keeping my word here to myself, I will do it. Because anything less would be, you know, disrespect towards myself. So, and we don't do that around here. The world is doing that more than enough already. We don't have to help it, you know. Maybe I should look for like hard round brush, hard edge round brush. I don't know. I don't know what to call this. Give me digital, something without patterns, please. This maybe, basic one, digital sketching. I mean, I guess this works, yes. But I kind of want this quick brush engine. Oh, okay. Diameter, spacing, auto, blending mode, burn, erase. What is erase? Oh, normal. Oh, okay. It's not quite not quite what I want. But maybe that's because I'm drawing so big, you know. I don't know. I'd like it to be a bit more. Oops. Hard on the edge. Because you can't compare this. Actually, it's pretty close. Actually, it's pretty close. This might actually work. Never mind. This might actually just work. So we'll take this basic brush here. And just, go ahead. I kind of feel like the whole hunt for new brushes is. Honestly, it's kind of stupid. Unironically. It just feels like that. Unless you have a specific idea of what you want to achieve, like a specific texture, say, or just a specific art style you are trying to replicate, looking for brushes is like it's like buying a new, say, expensive piece of equipment for, say, let's just say it like this. It's like buying a new PC to motivate you to, I don't know, better yourself. Kind of like that. It doesn't really work. You know, you just have to do things. You just have to start. You can't just expect everything to work on its own. Simply because now you've bought something expensive, therefore. That kind of logic usually doesn't work out. That's what brushes, or looking for better brushes, kind of feels like. It's the classic beginner's mistake for obvious reasons, because you think, oh, it must be the brush. Must be the brush. It's a common story, but very likely untrue. Very likely untrue. For the simple reason that, unironically, your art skills don't really scale off of your brush. To some extent, of course. Like there is a getting used to your tools. But personally, I think that phase is pretty small in terms of time length, It's nothing really that drags on over years and years and years and years. Oh, I still have to get familiar with the tool. No. At that point, you're trying to get some sort of mastery in this specific tool. That's no longer getting used to it, So like there is some scaling off of that, new brush thing, but usually it's not like I think everyone is just trying to look for like an all cure in a sense, because art is that difficult. Or maybe they're just scumbags and really don't want to learn, which could also be the case. But usually it doesn't, it's not malicious of any kind. It's not a malicious actor usually. It's just someone who doesn't really know. At least from my own experience, I am trying to put in the hours, right? I think at least. I don't know if it's going to be useful. I have no idea if this is going to work out the way I want it to. But I could be doing a lot less and pretend to be an artist. Also a very possible thing here. This is so difficult to work with this one. Like, despite it being such a clear-cut edge. I just struggle actually putting down the lines here. And I think when you paint, especially when you try to do some value studies or just paint in general, I think it's incredibly important to get the edges right, especially on architecture. Just the edges. Like everything else, you don't have to draw in every single little detail, you know? Obviously not, for very obvious reasons. Like it's not a photograph. And you don't have to force yourself to draw everything in like a realism kind of way, you know? Not at all necessary, and usually not particularly useful either anyway. What was I saying? Something about useful. Yes, just getting the edges correct. If you're working with shadows, you know, think of the edges, think of planes. That makes stuff a lot easier. If you try to get every grain of detail right from the get-go, you'll lose. If you think in lines and you think that you have to outline everything, that's also kind of the same trap. It just simply doesn't quite work. You know? We just go in here. What? Oh, my bad. Do some light erasing here. And I'm glad I have this brush. Okay, so now I have to do something about this stuff up here. And it wouldn't hurt. Let me look at this. Is this in shadow? Slightly. It's slightly in shadow. It's a slight dark red. So it's something like, I would say something like this. Maybe this. Okay, no, not quite. Need a bit more color. This isn't looking bad. Yeah, could be worse, could be worse. Gonna be honest. Okay, this is a bit too far. Let's keep the edge here. I've also kind of watched what's it called? The first two episodes, because I didn't know it came out. Like that Magic Atelier. I don't know what it's called. Basically, you know, the seasonal anime about a girl trying to learn magic. And the magic system is basically a runic system where you draw a bunch of runes onto paper, you know. So, yeah. Don't know what it's called right now. Something about a workshop, you know. Like the Mage's Workshop. They have a specific like French name, I think. I think that's French, right? Atelier. I think so. Anyway. Not too sure if this color works. It doesn't punch me in the face, at least. Let me just have a look here. Look. Actually, it's slightly more orange. It's slightly more orange. Maybe I could try the round brush a bit more. See if that works out. I want a bit more orange. That's a bit too much. I think this might... No. This might be good. Or not. I'm not too certain about this color. Kind of works. But also not really. You know? It's kind of weird. This is like taking almost all of my concentration away because it's just so stupendously difficult to use this tool, I feel like. It's just so different. It's kind of like a combination of painting and like carving. It's a weird feeling. So what about this roof? Actually, this is more orange even yet still. But I'm fine with this. How about the saturation? Is this dark enough, actually? Now that I think about it. It's not terrible. Could use a bit more darker colors here. A bit more black, basically. This might be too little. This is too dark. More like brown, actually. What about this? No. Okay, let's just leave it like that. Just leave it at that. Let's just take this color. It should be fine. You know. We don't want to make it more difficult than we have to. Because we already have so much on our plates. You know. It's gonna be fine. If we don't get everything perfect. Okay. You can see a lot of wobble. I don't know why. It's like my elbow is kind of like pulling this in because I'm sitting, right? And when I draw larger lines, it just automatically, as you can see, because my elbow is bending, right? And then it pushes in here this curve. So that kind of sucks. I don't know yet what to do about it. I guess I'll just have to try and sit up and see if I can mitigate that with the shoulder, with a larger shoulder movement, but I don't think I'll be able to. Actually, it's not that bad. Just not used to using my shoulder here. Although I actually, now that I think about it, you know, top 3 fantasy, like maybe Freren is actually 4th. Or we have 3 contenders for 1st place. I don't know. So like, Sentenced to be Hero was also pretty good. Didn't like the 3D animations, you know, but what can you do? That's gonna be always the case most of the time, you know, at least. I don't know, maybe at some point they'll actually figure out how to do 3D well and make it look good, like actually good, not as a substitute of lacking funds, you know, not as a substitute for 2D animation. Like I don't dislike, 3D animation. Obviously not. I've watched quite a few like fan channels, not just for Hololive, but for a bunch of different communities. Like, I think his name is Sodas. So I think, let me see. Yes, basically with a Z at the end here, right? Who makes all sorts of fan animations, but recently like a Fallout one. He did Halo before that, and something else before that. But we're not like an OG or anything. You know, I've just gotten like Halo recommended to me because obviously. Why wouldn't I? There's a lot of things going wrong. But the main issues I have with this is just generally the orientation of the planes. So now I want to see. Let's go more into red. Let me think about this. I still find it quite funny how most of the names are just German, or like all of them, really. You know, the farthest away Magic City is literally called Äußerst, so like kind of translatable as furthest, but it's more like utmost, you know? It's more akin to saying utmost. It's kind of weird to say, äußerst and mean furthest away, you know? I guess in some contexts it could work, but it would be more like a, I mean, it certainly works if you modify the word, right? Is it conjugate? I don't know. Is that the word? Is that the definition? Conjugate? I don't know. Conjugate, to inflect a verb in its forms or distinctions such as number, person, voice, mood, and tense. Yes, that's the word actually. I believe. I don't know. Maybe. Conjugate. You know, you have to conjugate the word. You'd have to put an T and an E. So instead of äußerst, you would say äußerste, right? To mean the outermost or the furthest. But it's like, Anyway, it's still pretty funny. Especially how like the characters are named. A lot of them just, literally named after their major character plot point, you know, like Übel, right, is in her specific context, you would probably translate it as malignant or malicious, I think it's malignant, right? Malignant. Tending to metastasize, threatening to life. Malignant, malicious, I guess, would be more apt to say then. You can also translate it as like unwell, right? Depending on the context. But in terms of the character in Frieren, Then, of course, you have Frieren, who's like literally frozen, whose emotions are frozen, right? Who doesn't understand, who needs to be thawed out, like, warmed, right? Her whole character arc is her warming up to people, right? It's pretty on the nose, kind of like unoriginal in a sense, But I've seen worse, honestly. Honestly, I've seen much worse. Much worse. But yeah, that's what it is. It's still a good show. Still a good show. Let me just. Fucking hell. Something stuck to my finger. There we go. Okay, let's see. Just a minor fixing up. I kind of want to have something that's actually incredibly straight here. Perhaps I want to do this kind of stuff with a ruler. I don't know. I mean, it certainly could be fun though, like forcing my brain to, break down the slopes and just the environment in general into like planes and shapes, easy, simple shapes that I can do with a ruler. But I wouldn't even know how to do that, Let me look. Snap to grid, I think, was an option I saw. Snap to assistance. What is assistance? Snap to grid, control, shift, and something else. Control, shift, and this. Let me see. Control, shift. Is that now snapping? No, not at all. Control, shift. No. It's not. So this, this whole castle is kind of like going that way. What the hell? Kind of falling this way, right? Whoops. Wait, this is... Yes. Kind of falling that way. This is horrible. This is absolutely horrible. I mean, the alternative would be, I guess, trying it with the lasso tool. Although maybe perhaps doing it like this might not be too difficult, Because Because it's certainly almost always gonna be straight up, you know? Let's see if that one works. I guess I could just paint over it with any round brush. With this color, please, if possible. I guess it can work, yes. Certainly looks a lot more straight now. Could do the same thing here. But I don't know. I mean, I'm of two minds here, you know? Is that the way to say it? Kind of thinking, you know? I'm like, on one hand, I kind of like the wobbly nature. On the other, it's making a few things too difficult. What the hell happened here? There we go. Alright. Alright, alright. Anyway. Let me see what we can do with this stuff back here. Because as you can see here, this kind of looks like the structure is falling down that hill because of some minute inconsistencies with like perspective, I say. You know, nothing too insane at all, but enough to make you second guess the stability of the building. So maybe this was a bit too difficult overall in terms of scope for like the first actual value study. Although I have to say, it's kind of also like a color theory study because I basically do it in color. But you know, I have this nifty shortcut here to check for the values. It kind of works. I think that achieved what it should have. Yeah. I'm not mad about it at all. I like this for what it is. Let me see, let me look for a turquoise. Okay. Actually, I have to go for a bit. Let me just take the round brush here. There you go. What? Kind of lagged there for a second. Alright. I'll be right back. Give me a moment, please. All right, I've returned. Sorry, took a while. Took a while. 5 minutes, I believe, right? Something along those lines. Oh, every time. Every time. Sorry, I have to step away again and get my glove back. Be right back. This is not what I intended, but it is where we are. Sorry. Took way longer than I thought it would, but it is what it is. Happens. It happens, I think. Alright. Give me this. No. Wait. Actually, just give me this. Yes, okay. Alright, so I kind of want to. Kind of want to have this be a bit more blue, actually. Like a slight darker tone. Less turquoise. More bluish. Let's see if that works. Why is this a canvas fill? Like, why does this function as a canvas filling tool? Is there like a threshold? That's not right. Tool option, fill, source, background color, foreground color, pattern, reference, threshold. Maybe 98. Right? Okay, now it worked. So I had to push up the threshold on tool options. Because I had this issue before. Really tried figuring out why it was happening, but Krita is sometimes a bit too open source. Sometimes it's a bit weird. Actually really weird. Okay, maybe I'll take this here actually. This airbrush. So I want to get like this feeling of a. I want less of an edge up here. Less of an edge, more of a smudge. This kind of works, I think. Yes. Doesn't look bad. Although I do need a bit more white, no? I need a bit more of this actually. Give me a bit more of this, please. Never actually used an airbrush successfully in any drawing or painting or whatever this is supposed to be. Actually, let me be a bit more on point here. Yes, actually it's a lot more thorough here. Thorough? No, like a lot more domineering, the color I mean. It's a bit thicker, the fog or whatever this is. I mean, this is England, so it makes sense that there's a lot of fog, you know. A lot of fog. And I think if I remember correctly, this was somewhere like northeast, not next to the coast, but, you know, close enough, I would say. Something in Northumbria, I believe, yes? Northumbria Castle? No, not Bamberg. Bamberg. A different one. A different castle. So Northumberland, Right, Northumberland. There's like... Right, Northumberland National Park. Somewhere around there. Don't remember what it was called though. Grassley's Wood. Simonside, Dove Crag, Darden Pike, Scott's Cap. Somewhere like Northumberland National Park. Somewhere around that area. Roughly. There's like another castle somewhere. Not sure if it's in the national park. Probably not. But somewhere in there. I looked it up last time, I think, right? Anyway. I'm getting sidetracked. This kind of works. So, although I do want a bit more. Bit more white. Let's see if we can make this work somehow. Probably not. But if we keep the shades in mind, actually... It's kind of weird how these clouds work here. Or like a continuous like blob of thing. Blob of thing. Thing of blob. Grand. Not horrible. Could be worse. A long shot. Now we just go white. We give it Does this work? I don't know, I've never done like clouds. How do you like make clouds work? Like actually. Like I understand that we kind of want to keep in mind that the sky goes this way, right? Like we're looking at the sky and we have to imagine everything further away just goes down. Not in the back necessarily. You know? Maybe that's something I'm missing here. Oh, this is just too... I don't know. Maybe... Oh, whoops. Maybe a... What the hell? Airbrush isn't the best way to do this. So... If I just leave the clouds alone and don't actually draw them in, I think it might look a lot better. Yeah. I'm gonna leave the clouds alone for now. I don't want to ruin something that's working. Just because I want to try right now. I mean, I could try just drawing on a practice thing, yeah? Separate layer. Could practice doing some clouds, I think. Why not? You know, ad hoc basis. But do I feel like studying clouds? Not really. Nope. Nope. Instead, I'll take the round brush. I'll go ahead, take this color, and I want it a bit more gray. More like stone-ish gray, you know? A smidge. Just a little bit. My bad. My bad still. Okay, now I just need to make it darker. What? I didn't intend to use this picking tool. Actually, this kind of looks like it's not dark enough. Honestly, the value doesn't quite work, I think. No, it doesn't. Like, it needs to be just slightly brighter. So we're gonna go here, take this, plop it into this color. If you don't mind, please. Come on, what's wrong? 81 threshold? Or is it just not that different? Can you even do anything? Okay, yes, you can. You just refuse to. For some odd reason. You refuse to give this color. This is so weird. The hell? Yeah, it just doesn't work. What is this? Enclose and fill tool. It just doesn't function properly. Am I stupid or something? Oh! Wait, there's something going on with the layers that's fucking it all up. What? This is so weird. These tools just... Why aren't they intuitive? Like, who is using this? Who's using this tool set here? Why are you not working? Lord. I can't. What the hell? Now I have to repaint this entire shit thing. Because I can't. Because I can't. Ugh, this is kind of... What the hell is this? What? What is this? Freehand pathing tool. Bezier curve tool. Okay. Alright. What? Who needs that anyway? Guess I'll just paint over it again. Because why would it work, of course? If it could just also not work. Make your life miserable in the process of not working. Although this color, I think, like this gray, slightly brighter gray that I've been using here earlier, I'm painting over now. Can I please see? Thank you. I think that might work for the other side. of the fence quite well. So I preserve some bits and bobs here and there. You know? Bits and bobs. Such a fun expression, you know? Bits and bobs. Bits and bobs. I've been lately like thinking about like a specific phrase in German. Kind of means like to have like ulterior motives, and literally translated it's like carrying something behind your shield, you know, or in your shield. Carrying something in your shield. I wonder if that was ever like an issue, let's say, between people. Like, how did that figure of speech come to be, I wonder? Is it because, you know, some less honorable knights or whatever used to carry knives in their shields? Or is it just a basic fact that knights used to carry, you know, hidden weapons within their shields? I don't know. Kind of. Does that make sense? I don't know. I've kind of been thinking about that. Kind of interesting. What am I doing here? Why am I redoing this entire thing the entire time? What else? My brain was stuck on the topic. Okay, but I just noticed I have to find a solution for this right now. Critter, make the cursor more visible. Is there a way? Configure and select the general tab. From there you can adjust the cursor shape and the outline settings to enhance visibility. Okay, settings, configure, general, brush cursor, preview outline, show outline, use effective outline size, brush outline color. Could I use a red? I mean, regardless of what it is that you're going to be using, it's likely not. Ugh, I don't know. Hmm. Yeah, this is certainly it. The shape. Brush cursor, icon, tool icon, no cursor, small circle, crosshair, triangle right-handed, triangle left-handed, black pixel, white pixel, singular white pixel, no cursor. Let's try a white pixel. Oh! Okay. Hey, this is already... Okay, this is actually working. Because now I can finally see. I can finally see people. I've been healed. I can see. All right. Give me this, please. Thank you. And now I want to just go over there. Go over yonder. That way. Be gone, you terrible, terrible thing, you. Emptiness of space. I don't know why I just thought of that. I guess, you know, empty space and such. Kind of thought of like Sana. Sunlights. Sunlights? Am I misremembering? Wait. My brain is kind of fried right now. I feel like I'm misremembering. Let me have a look at this image. Okay. Some dips are fine. Actually, I want to go a bit further down here. Yeah, something like that. Over yonder. That way. You know, we kind of want to roughly follow. Okay, this white pixel is actually. This is insane. It works so well. Not like, you know, my lines are not gonna be terrible still, but at least I can see. At least I can see. What's kind of confusing me is the way they've coded this. Like the white pixel is dragging the circle around, which, you know, sure, it looks funny, but I would rather have the cursor be fixed to the actual position of where I'm drawing, not where I'm like dragging to. I don't know, it's kind of weird. It's slightly throwing me off, but nothing insane, you know, nothing too serious here. Nothing too serious. Why so serious? Ouch. My leg is starting to hurt. Whoops. Actually, this might be a bit too. Yeah, the difference in value isn't enough. I thought it was, but turns out it was not, in fact. Right, so give me this. Whoops. There we go. Give me that. And I'll do this. I wish this would work, this bucket fill thing. Filling extent. Fill all regions until a specific boundary color. Fill regions similar in color to the clicked region. Okay, does this work? No. It's exactly the opposite of what I want. Does it work now? No. Why does it not work? Like, actually. Like, actually, why you not work, you wholesome pixel? Like, what? Come on. Who is coding this? What the fuck is this? What? Oh! Why do I have to do your job? Hello? Please. I just want this to replace the color I put down. But it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Do I have to take the magic wand? Because it can't tell the difference. If you can see. Maybe it's the value that's not enough. Sorry. Couldn't mute myself quick enough. What is this? What? Huh? Okay, well. What is this? Similar color selection tool. Yeah, it just doesn't work. Look at this. Am I stupid? I I don't know. Huh? I'm confused. I just want this to work, please. Please. I want it to work. I want it to work. Smart patch tool? What is this? Colorize mask tool. What is a colorize mask tool? I don't know. Document is busy. What do you mean document is busy? The saving is being postponed. What is happening? Is my like CPU dying or something? Let me just have a look here. Yes, it is actually. Critter is casually eating 57% of my CPU. Damn. I hope the stream is fine. Because this is insanity. I can't even save the image. Like, what the hell is happening? Hello? Come on. It just doesn't know what to do. Look at this insanity. What? What? Look at this leg. What the fuck is going on? What the what the hell is this? Oh man. I can't. Please just go back. Oh my. What? Okay. Okay. I think it's working now. I believe. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. Finished saving. I need a break from this insanity. I can't. Although it's looking nicer. But as you can see, the fence down here is obviously way too bright, and I underestimated how dark it's actually, in this image. I was like, oh, you have to see that it's actually, all these people, actually gray in color. This is basically black. The only giveaway that this is gray is the other side of the fence. Basically, some highlights here and there, some texture. I wonder how you would put in these details through just using light and shadow here. Without, overworking yourself, without going in and drawing every single pixel here. The greatest amount of detail you could. What? Didn't I just save? Did you do anything else? It said it was finished saving. Oh, okay, whatever. Yes, save, please. Okay, just give me a second. I have to blow my nose. Alright, I'm back. I have returned. Let me just drink some water here. I kind of want to do this stuff that I've seen Davi do. Actually, let me go in here and change the name of this. Let me save it as whoops. Save it as paint. Paint practice week 7. Paint practice week 7. And then I go into a new file. Do I do upright? Yeah, let's just do portrait, whatever. It doesn't really matter, honestly. It doesn't really matter, I don't think. A3, 300 ppi. I think that should be fine, yes? It's a standard thing. No. So, I think this is everything, yes? Okay. Created. Save it as practice week 7. Where is it? Practice. Am I blind or paint practice week 7? Practice week 7. Save. Yep, I want to replace it. Thank you. All right. So I've seen Davi or whatever, however you pronounce his name. I've just seen him like do this. That's a bit too thick. You take a black here. I didn't think this to be that. That little. Basically just, draw and paint at the same time kind of thing. Where he goes in and he just puts in the values while he's drawing. I mean, it's not necessarily anything, revolutionary. He's basically just, skipping a few steps, I guess you could say. But I don't have any reference, so I don't even know what I'm drawing. I don't know if... kind of don't feel like this brush is doing what I want it to. But it's fine, it could be worse, Ouch. I don't know. I mean, this is kind of too much. This is kind of too much. This is too much like a marker, Unironically, it's too much like a marker. Which is kind of funny, if I'm being honest. What about this brush here? Is there a way mask type Gaussian? No idea what that is supposed to mean. No clue as to what it is or isn't. Okay, how does this fare? This might be what I'm looking for. I want it to be a bit more easily smoothed over, but I guess only Procreate has this option, huh? to not render all of this as a like as a separate stroke, but as more of an addition. Maybe that's what a mask type would be for. Is there like soft? There is a soft brush, but it's a bit too soft. I think it is uncomfortably soft. Gaussian, Gaussian, is that how you pronounce it? Is this like actually from the German inventor? Or like theoretical physicist, I think, right? What was he? Kind of interested. We're learning some history here, guys. Let me see. Carl Friedrich Gauss. Mathematician, astronomer, geodesist, physicist. Okay, not not even a theoretical physicist. But I guess, did that even exist back in the day? Like how long ago was this? 1777. That's one hell of a day to be born in. 1777. When were you born? 1777. Huh. Nice. And he died 1855. Okay. Why not 1888? Come on. Come on, my man. You just had a few more years. Like 111, I guess, right? Yeah, it would be 111. Damn. Guess 77 years. Wow. Okay, never mind. He was born 1777 and he. This has to be a meme. Come on, this can't be real. Like, he's serious. And he lived to the age of 77. Like, it's a miracle that, he didn't die on the February 17th or something. I'm sure there's more to this. There's a mystery here. I smell it. Carl Friedrich Gauss. One hell of a man. I think that's the guy the Gauss cannon is named after, right? In video games, popular media. But I have I claim no knowledge of the mechanics behind it, the real world, science or whatever. Electromagnets and the physics of the Newton's cradle to accelerate the projectile. Gauss guns are distinct from and predate coil guns, although many works of science fiction have confused the two. Gauss rifle is to demonstrate the effects of energy and momentum transfer, however. Self-assembling microbots based on the principle have been proposed for tissue penetration. What am I reading here? This is a bunch of dog shit. Oh, it's what a summary of an AI, okay. Anyway, let's go back to what I wanted to do. Pull up some reference. We're gonna pull up some reference. We're gonna study some things. Not sure what yet, but we'll study some things. Look at some things. I've been kind of like debating if I should make a Twitter account, but I'm like nowhere near good enough to be selling anything, I don't think. I don't know. I don't even know if I want to be honest, I just want to get better at that. We'll see. We'll see. Could be fun though. Could also not be fun though. Ouch. My leg hurt. Leg hurt. Ouch. Ouch. I kind of want to draw guns. Just weaponry. What the hell is this? Okay, some nice architecture. A vertibird, I think. I think that's a vertibird. Vertibird. all the things I want to draw, all the things I draw, all the things I draw. That's a very nice looking cat. I like the way he's very loose with his lines here. Very gestural, I think. Oh, ouch, 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 ouch. Okay, okay. Sorry, leg. Ah. Oh, I just want to sit in my chair, man. Oh. So that's the cat he redrew. Nice. Like the edges he did here around the mouth area of the cat. La cat. La gato. El gato. Okay, I'm getting sniffly again. Give me a second. All right. Okay. Sorry. That kind of peaked a blit. I have returned successfully. Yes, young one. Oh, I kind of want to draw all the memes, but am I good enough? I don't know. I'll just have to do it and figure it out. Anyway, what do I want to draw? There's so much just amazing art. Yeah. Very nice art. I like looking at nice art. Good assets. All the good art. Hey, who's this? Oh, Tanya the Evil. Oh. Oh. Oh, Lord. Maybe. Maybe, just maybe. Let me think. Let me think here. No, this is too small. I need to actually use a different brush. This is not not helpful. All right, let's just use this. Here we go. I feel like I forgot how to draw. This is so weird. This is so weird. Guys, can't draw anymore. So let's do maybe something like this. I don't know. I think season 2 is finally coming out, no? Tanya the Evil. Is it like this month or is it July or June, July, something like that? I want to say it's gonna be a bit later, but I don't remember. Tanya the Evil. Very nice. Hmm. Ouch. Ow. Back hurt. Leg hurt. Hand hurt. Head hurt. Nose hurt. Me hurt. Hmm. I like the cat. Very nice cat. Hmm. Ouch. I shouldn't. I shouldn't like dilly dally this much. Shouldn't like procrastinate as much. I should choose a picture and draw it. Just draw it. Just do it. I mean, we could use this as an amateur. Amateur or Matur. Das ein Armatur. Yes. Nein, Hans, do not go into the weed cave. No, what was it? No, German. Small German boy. I think that's what it was, right? No, don't, small German boy. Do not enter into the weed cave. Do not go into the weed cave. I have to look at it now. TF2. Oh, weed cave. I don't remember. Little German boy. Okay. This is why our team has no medics. Alright. That's enough. I mean, I kind of want to do. I do kind of want to do, like. You know what? I really like Tanya the Evil. And Shiori. Why don't we take Shiori and put her in that setting? Not necessarily as a replacement to Tanya, in a sense, a cosplay, right? But, like, what if she was actually in that universe? You know, that kind of thing. Oh, I mean, she would probably be dead, honestly, given how she's just a regular human. And she doesn't, like, have any special powers we know of other than just knowing a lot of things, which can be useful. But, I mean, just have to be more gestural with how I'm drawing, I think. Look at this guy. He's flying somewhere in that direction. Massive explosion. Bam! I don't know. Kind of looked like a monster of some sort. Terrible. Terrible. Let's take any form and just draw contour lines on top. But maybe that fan art project will be for another day, because I'm more invested in this right now. Honestly, more invested in this. Now we made this form look 3D. We can even go as far as to say that this is like a sort of cut, right? If we now carve in some shadow below this, right, might look even more interesting. Some shadow in here. Not too sure what this is, but it's certainly lying there. Or rather, I don't know what it was, what it's supposed to be, what it could have been. Think of the possibilities. Maybe it's just like a pile of shit someone stepped in. That kind of sounds like something. What's his name? Kevin? Like I'm sure you've heard of him. Like this kind of like edgelord artist on Twitter. Who's doing some really funny art, I think the last thing I saw, which is quite a while now, was the Doki Doki Literature Club in the classroom, like the characters, right? But with some assault rifle or like an AR-15, right? Wait, why did I bring him up? Why did I bring him up? All right, yeah. I don't know. I would expect him to draw a fully rendered pile of shit, like really fancy, treat it like the most amazing image, I don't know in what context he would draw it, but kind of would expect him to do that sort of thing. At least would it fit the image I have in my mind of him or her. I don't know. Yes, the artist. I mean, honestly, chances are it's a dude, because what woman would really want to put herself in that kind of like precarious situation? They are social animals a lot more so than men, because they are after all weaker, so they're less likely, to be outcasts. But doesn't mean that there aren't. I mean, if you're a Hololive fan, I mean, nothing against the girl by any means, but they aren't exactly screaming, Stacy. If that makes sense. Crony a little bit, but if you know her more than just, for 5 seconds, it's not necessarily an assumption you would make. Why did I bring this up? I don't know. Why did I say all of this? I forgot, sorry. I don't know. I don't remember. I'm sure I wanted to make a very important, very well thought through point. Yes. Definitely. Anyway. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing here. But I mean, maybe today I'll just do some meaningless things. Maybe just some meaningless things. Not feeling a whole lot here today in terms of inspiration. It completely slipped my mind that Tanya the Evil gets a second season. I do like the show, especially, or rather mostly, because I just like the alternative history approach here, which it essentially is. Like, it's possibly what would have happened or could have happened. It's like a potential, off branch of our current reality, where instead of the French declaring war on Austria and Germany, or Germany declaring war on Russia, whatever, right? Or perhaps instead of all of that happening, They just lived in peace. Austria could, what's the word? Strengthen their position, their internal, politics position a bit further, get the reforms done they wanted to implement, and essentially follow the great Germanization plan, I guess you could say, in a sense. I wonder if that is what this would have looked like, But like just imagining this kind of massive superpower in the middle of Europe, it's like the fuck. Like just imagine playing Europa Universalis, right? And you're just like, bam, Germany plus, right? This is the true German Empire. Okay, I have to drink something. I yapped a bit too much. Hmm. I don't know, I'm feeling kind of scratchy, but I'm anticipating a great meal tomorrow. Can't kind of wait. Kind of can't wait. You know, getting some amazing cake. Amazing cake to eat. Like actual cake, Like bakery cake. Wait, it kind of didn't work. Like pastry, you know? What am I drawing here? I don't know. I kind of want to loosen up. I want to use lines a bit less to, describe the not circumference, but the what's the word? It's probably exactly that. I'm sure there's a synonym for it that fits better. Let me see. I feel like I've been reading up more on like random words and history. Scope? No, not scope. Size, circumference, perimeter coverage, range, volume, area? No, no. Okay. Circumference, I guess. But I think that only relates to circles, no? The circumference of a circle. The outermost plane. I don't know. Like, yes. I don't just want to, create. By being this, like, okay, there's a line here, and then there's a line here, and then there's a line here, or like, I don't know, here maybe. Right. I want to move on from this kind of way of drawing. I want to do something else. I want to do it more like. I mean, it's still similar because we are still working with lines. But maybe. I don't know. Is it shadows that I want to work with more? Not really. Not really. It's hard to describe for me. Possibly because I don't understand it myself yet. I just dream of the line weight of some other artists, or just the general way of drawing, the art style. I don't want this kind of. It always kind of looks like childish in a sense, unknowledgeable. But I don't know how to describe. Like I've drawn the way I wanted. I try. Okay, so I have drawn in the way that I'm trying to describe here before, but it's always been a fluke in a sense, you know? It's like the gotcha element to learning art, you know? Like sometimes you draw something that's way outside of your skill level, like way outside your skill level. I don't even have a concrete example here right now. I could look at some of my earlier drawings, but I don't think I will find anything particularly in line with that right now. Oh, actually, never mind. Yes, there is one drawing. Like I drew my computer case a few weeks back at this point, months even, right? Yes, this was in February, 2 months ago, basically, 1.5 months. So, and I drew my case, my computer case, like say, but I didn't look too closely, or rather, I didn't look at what I was drawing on my page. I was looking at the subject, you know, and I just let my hand, do the heavy lifting. And out came something that looked a bit more sophisticated. It wasn't necessarily the gotcha thing, you know, that I talked about, but it's not the usual way I draw or sketch something, at least in terms of like the quality, you know. But I can't quite replicate it right now because I'm not looking at my case actively, you know. But yeah, sometimes I dream of greater heights. Like, man, I can't even imagine how Davi, like, or however he's like, called, Art of Davi, I think, like his channel on YouTube. I just can't put myself in that position, right? Being able to draw as well as he can with all of the different like brushes and tools he uses. It's kind of amazing in a way, you know. I just can't. I can't fully grasp myself being at that point, you know, or reaching that point rather, and being like, yeah, I want to improve more. Because it's like it's easy when your art is dog shit, right? It's easy when your art is dog shit to say, I want to improve. Like, you know, obviously it's easy to say a lot of things and, different than being to actually do it is a whole, you know, different pair of shoes, I guess. But that's not the point. The point is more like, it's easy to say, I want to improve when you draw like this. Uh, It's like, yeah, I can understand why you'd want to improve. But if, like, we try. But if you start, like, just casually, I don't know how to explain this. I can't exactly give you an example, I don't think. Hmm. Hmm. It's like an entirely different thing if you just casually start, you know, throwing out silhouettes just randomly. I don't know. It's kind of shit. It's kind of ass. Hmm. Hmm. It's like an entirely different pair of shoes, you know. If you throw out like a sketch, if you just sketch, quote unquote, and your image looks like a fucking masterpiece, maybe that's a bit overreaction, you know. But like, I just can't imagine reaching that point and being like, yep, I still want to improve. Maybe at that point, you've been doing it so long that you don't even second guess it. Because, like, I don't want to jinx it, but I don't really second guess, sitting down to draw at this point anymore. Like, I've done it so much, like, for so many days in a row, back to back, you know, not necessarily just the streams. Like, I mean, what everything I did before that too, everything I did before that as well. Where I'm like, yeah, I'm aware I could still stop, but the likelihood of me willingly throwing away all of what I've like worked up to just to spite myself is like, no, that's not gonna be happening. I'd rather just draw. Like if I'm bored, I'm like, maybe I'll draw. You know, maybe I'll draw something, and I sit down and draw something. But that's interesting. Oh, this doesn't go through, huh? Look at this. That's interesting. Huh. I mean, I guess it wouldn't, if you think about it, right? Damn, I didn't think you would actually, like, replicate the feel of a marker this much, Didn't think it possible. Did not think it possible. I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of sitting like a gremlin again. Oh, sorry. Hope I didn't rip out your ears unintentionally. Hmm. Hmm. Actually, let me take this color here. Which one was it? This one? Yes, this one. Okay. Hmm. 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 How would I go about rendering like an eye? Kind of thinking how I would do this. Oh, I didn't breathe into the microphone too much. Microphone breathers in here. We are the microphone breathers. Oh well, maybe I am. Kind of too loud to go a bit down here. Go a bit down. There's so much going on. How would I make this work? Obviously, we need some of this, I think. Hmm. Let me take this color and go over here and go in here and then do something like this. Actually, I have to keep the bend in mind here. I wouldn't see much here. I would see some here, some here. I'm not good at it. Not good at it is. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I am good at this. I have no idea, guys. I'm just trying out. This is kind of fun, just trying everything and just, whatever. Like, I don't care. I want to get better, yeah, but should I be worrying about that the entirety of my art journey? Like, this kind of seems like an easy way to stop having fun. And I think if I stopped having fun, I would stop drawing. Because it's like, what's the point? You know? If creation, if creating, which is essentially what we're doing here, right? If the act isn't enjoyable for you, why bother doing it? Something else. There's plenty of things you could instead do. Maybe this is a bit too small. Perhaps. Maybe I should have done this instead. But I kind of want like a different pattern. Does that make sense? Like I want a pattern that's less cohesive. Something not quite this. What about this? Nope. What about this? Kind of looks like a car wheel. What is this? There's so much weird stuff going on. Hmm. What the hell? Okay. Hmm. Uh, is this a polar? Yep. That's a polar. It's the polar. Polarstern. as a brush. What the hell? Damn, this looks kind of like creepy. Like kind of these like pseudo-scientific, creatures they like to put in like sci-fi or horror movies with a sci-fi setting. I'm sure you've seen them before. Like the general like feel or shape or like atmosphere, I guess. Not so much going off of the direct form or shape. Also like of a feel. Like I feel like I've seen this a billion times before. What the hell is this? What? There's a brush. Are you serious? There's a brush pattern that can draw ellipses. It just draws them for you. What the hell? Okay. Yep. That's okay. That's one hell of a way of drawing, I guess. I think 03. Yeah, okay. But I'm not getting what I want here. It is what it is. Why did that save? Oh, I didn't click save. Come on. I did not. I guess the predefined brush settings simply remain in place. Why wouldn't they, right? You don't have to save it. It just stays that way. That's just how it is now. Deal with it. Well, thank you for nothing, I guess. Oh, come on. Are you serious now? It sucks. I just wanted to play around a little bit. RGBA anim. What is that actually? RGBA2. Maybe I can find RGBA 01 blue. I mean, there's this terrible dog shit which no one needs. Okay, no. Sorry. Why? Oh, is it that? Was it that? What I drew with? I think it was this, yes. Okay. That was just an extra button to press. Kind of looking weird. This doesn't really look like an eye. Only like a symbol of an eye, not really like an eye itself. I have not achieved anything. Do not save. This is a terrible, terrible disgrace for my entire dynasty. My forebears are turning in their graves. My forefathers are turning in their graves like this dog. That's some nice sound. My forefathers, they are turning in their graves. I'm kind of feeling sickly today. Hmm. Ow. Ow. That's some nice gesture. A lot of amazing art. Just can't think of anything to draw. My head hurts. Man. I just want to draw. I want to get better at drawing. You know? I want to get better at drawing by drawing. Hmm. It's kind of funny, like, there was like, I would say almost half a year ago, you know, maybe not that long, but a while ago, a while ago. And I think I rewatched some of the Jurassic movies, like Jurassic Park, and I don't know, I guess I just looked a bit more closely at the dinosaurs. And when I was done watching the movies, right, I think I watched, was it just one on that specific day? Like I've watched a few over a week or so, maybe more. And there was this one day where I watched Jurassic Park World, I believe. I can't recommend it, but you do you. And I just sat down afterwards and I was like, I think, you know what? I think I'm gonna draw a dinosaur. I'm gonna draw a dinosaur. How would you draw a dinosaur? I was like, maybe you would draw a dinosaur something like maybe this. And since they also have necks, right? We want to keep that in mind. Maybe something like this, maybe something like that. I don't know. Where would the dinosaurs have the chin basically, right? Maybe like this, and maybe something here, and maybe like I don't know, and maybe something like I don't care, or something like I don't whatever. And I just drew casually without thinking too much actually. Like in the moment I didn't, think all of these things. I just drew. And then as I was done, I was just amazed at how well I drew like a dinosaur, more like a dragon-esque thing. But like, I think the goal was more of a how do you draw a dangerous looking large um what's the word? Lizard, you know? How do you draw a big dangerous looking lizard? You know? How? How draw? How draw big lizard? Well, I have to say, now that I'm using like a smaller brush here. The hell is this? Oh, this is what this looks like. If I don't use it in like a fine liner kind of way. What was I saying? Yes, the mission was basically just large, dangerous looking um, lizard. You know, big, dangerous looking lizard. I was pleasantly surprised how well I could do it. And I didn't sit down immediately after the movies either. I don't think. But I might be misremembering. Might be misremembering. But I don't think I, sat down immediately and was like, "Oh, let me actually draw this while I'm watching it." Still, I don't know. It was kind of like pleasantly surprising. It was the type of like, occasional boost you need in morale, I guess you could say. Because believe it or not, to an extent, grinding away every day, kind of, actually, now that I'm thinking about this more closely, and before I say it, I don't want to say things, I don't mean, and I don't want to give power to things I don't want to have power over me in a sense. Although, that only goes so far anyway. Like, there's a reason why there are delusions, right? But actually, no. Yeah, never mind. I'll take back what I said, or was I what I was about to say. Like it was just a pleasant surprise, you know. I mean, you do doubt yourself, but this doesn't bother me, It doesn't bother me. But it's nice to have like this, you know, preview in a sense. Ow! Did I bite myself or something? What the hell? Did I eat some insect unintentionally? Well, let me drink something. Anyway, now that I'm talking about it, I obviously can't give you an example of a well-drawn dinosaur of any kind, I guess. How would the mouth of a dinosaur actually look like? Like if we go about it in this way, right? If we say, okay, I mean, you could just do like some sort of like alligator-esque thing. I don't know. I mean, like, I'm not some sort of drawing expert or dinosaur expert. I just draw and try to get better at drawing. But we make this really nasty dinosaur, like with hooked teeth. If he bites into your flesh, you're like dead. I mean, not that there would be a dinosaur you would want to be bit by, but perhaps this one in particular would just absolutely wreck you. You know? One bite, one tug, basically. Your arm comes off. That's coming with him now. You're dead. Goodbye. Do not return. You know? That kind of thing. Wait. Why can I use this brush to. Huh? To erase all of a sudden? Why does that work? It used not to work. Okay. Certainly caught something there. Sorry, little guy. But I don't want you flying around in my proximity. Proximity? Proximity. I dirtied my sketchbook. Anyway. It's kind of dog shit looking. I don't like this. This is dog shit. Hmm. 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 This is more like just messy if I do this. It's not exactly the kind of look I want to go for. Hmm. 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 I'm more like trying to carve into this form, but like I can tell it's very poor. Like I'm not good at this at all. But like we keep trying, until we fail or succeed, or fail again until we succeed, and then we keep on trying, and then we keep on failing, and we repeat the cycle. You know. But this like brush is not. It's not working as I wanted it to. I again might as well just have used a regular hard edge round brush, because that's essentially what this is. If you look at it, Okay, hard edge round brush. Thank you. Like okay, not very helpful. You know. Anyway, I don't know. This kind of looks weird. Kind of looks like a weird cross of a crocodile, like a dragon, and some other unknowable evil creature of doom. You know? The video game, of course. It's certainly looking a lot more fearsome without the eyes that I drew here. Maybe I should just use this instead, huh? We push in here, because that's how this goes, I think. I don't know, guys. I'm just trying anything. It kind of looks like dog shit. But that's okay. That's just the skill level we currently enjoy. So I want to get rid of this shit here. Doesn't work. It don't work. It won't work. Look shit. So we don't do it. What's hmm. Maybe I should do this a lot more gestural too. But gestural to me is just messy. Because I don't have the skill, you know? It's just messy. It's not exactly, you know, what it's supposed to be doing, I think. Also, what the hell is this? The perspective is kind of not working out. I think that's the biggest issue here with the mouth. I don't think the perspective is going to work. Beautiful? No. We could just do a dragon. Anyway. Of sorts, like a wyvern or something else. Maybe we'll come up with something weird. Yeah, it's the perspective that's throwing me off here. I think. Ouch. Ouch, 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 ouch. And of course, the fact that my leg is hurting so much I could jump off a cliff. Oh. I don't know. I kind of feel like I've been using the past few sessions as an excuse, you know, as a kind of safe zone. Instead of trying to push my knowledge of things, I would just go pick up a reference and redraw the reference, right? Which obviously would look like shit in the beginning, but then kind of decent, you know? And I feel like I've been using that as a kind of crutch to, instead of just, you know, doing stuff like this maybe, which is completely out of pocket, just something that I'm currently interested in for some odd reason. I'm trying to figure out how this whole drawing thing works, right? Trying to push in forms, pull out others, you know. Sorry about the sneeze. I would just retreat into a kind of comfort zone, I guess. Kind of don't want that because I actually want to be, you know, I want to be better. So that's the kind of stuff I think you should be trying to be aware of, so you don't run yourself into corners for no reason, you know. So that you can actually learn in a way that's most optimal to you, you know. But if you're not aware, can't change anything. This looks like dog shit still, but it's my dog shit. Yeah, I just can't figure out the perspective here. Where is what coming from? What the hell? Where's what going to? Where? Why? When? Hmm. 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 Is this even gonna be helping me? This kind of looks like the dragon is like has makeup on, you know? Maybe he has. Maybe he has that kind of style. Or she, in that sense. Only women wear makeup. And people that pretend, and men that pretend to not be themselves. In other words, actors. I guess, you know? This is kind of working, I think. I don't know, guys. I if I knew whatever I was doing, right? I think I would be telling you. I'm just like randomly picking spots, you know, to. Oh, look! Do you see that? See how this is like suddenly. Suddenly, this is like a form of sorts. Oh, what the hell? What is this form? Where does it go? I don't know. But somehow I made it. It looks like shit. It doesn't fit in there. It's like he has some sort of cancer growing out of his chin. But hmm, I can't deny it. Looks nice. Oh, I don't dislike it at least. Oh, right. The size didn't matter on this brush because the size was dependent on like the tilt angle, I think. No, actually, it does kind of matter. Wait, what? I've not been actually. So this is like a sort of muscle, right? We want that. To actually happen. To be like here. What am I saying? I don't know, guys. I don't know, guys. I'm saying anything that kind of sounds intelligent at this point. Anything really? Because I'm feeling very stupid at this moment in time. Because I'm doing something that I've never done before, right? You know? Always feel kind of stupid when doing that sort of thing. Kind of want to give this like a kind of illusion of form here, but I'm failing at bending the lines. Because like the strength of the brush is throwing me off. How this is like, you know, how it's doing it, I guess, in a sense, you could say. Hmm. Hmm. No, this is too chaotic. I kind of wanna. Kind of looks like metal now. You know? Kind of looks like metal. But really, I'm just trying to give it like some sort of texture. But I'm failing miserably at it, I think. Yeah, it's kind of looking like a metal statue. Not intentionally, but you know, it is what it is. I guess that's what it's gonna be now. A terribly made metal statue of some dragon-esque thing. Alright, I kind of forgot like the breathing holes, right? Maybe we do the breathing holes up here. Like a real crocodile or something. I don't know. It's looking weird. He's looking weird. Ma! The ugly cat is back. What was it? I think it was that. Something along those lines. Ma! Yeah, whatever. Ugly ass. Shit. Hmm. I don't want it to be like this. Oh. Sorry. I'm trying. I'm trying. Sorry, guys. If I'm being fair to myself, though, I mean, well, it doesn't exactly look like some sort of dinosaur. I like this brush. I do have to say. Like, I'm actually starting to warm up to it, to the idea of this kind of thing. And to, like, actually carve. Think of carving into the foam. You know, this kind of. Why does this feel so nice to do? How about we do some more here? Actually add some, like, tooth or something. Something like this. He's kind of like that ugly grandpa. Or uncle, rather, sorry. Not grandpa. The uncle. The Mexican uncle. That somehow loses another teeth every other week. You know? Hmm. Ouch, ouch, ouch. I'm killing my finger here. Ah. Oh, that felt like I was cutting off blood supply to my finger. Holy shit. Ow. Okay. I don't know. Does this look nice? Kind of, maybe a little bit. Doesn't look terrible. I mean, not anywhere near, you know, the professionals, but I'm liking this. I'm starting to I don't want to say understand. I don't want to say it. I don't understand. Empty your mind. Zen. Emptiness. I didn't say anything. Don't take this non-accomplishment from me because it's not an accomplishment because I'm terrible. No, but like it's not terrible. I thought it would turn out worse, or I would drop drawing. You know, this particular thing here. I guess it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. It kind of looks like an anthropomorphic thing. Honestly, it looks kind of more like a lizard man. Possibly because of the way I've drawn this, like, neck, I guess you could say. Hmm. Hmm. I don't want to do the outline too much here, actually. At least not in one continuous line. Hmm. No, this is not what I want. Hmm. I'm enjoying this. Like, slowly putting form into it. Just erasing, putting down color, erasing, putting down color, erasing. You know? That's nice. I like this. Why do I like this so much? I don't know. I'm also kind of enjoying these scribbly lines here. But at some point I would probably get rid of them, would I? Or maybe not. I don't know. I mean, you could do a lot of interesting things, no? Maybe not like this, but maybe also not necessarily like this. But I'm sure you could do some interesting things with this kind of stuff. I don't know. I mean, I'm just, just trying around. Maybe turning down the opacity so it's like 50%. And just hatching across the forms. That could certainly do something, I think. I don't know. Does this look better? Not really. Maybe. I don't know. Could be worse, I think. Could be worse. Not finished, but I'm feeling like dead inside already. And my hand is not gonna appreciate me if I try to punch more through my tablet here, which inevitably is gonna happen since I have no control over my strength. I'm just too powerful. Anyway, sorry, it's a bit abrupt. Not too fancy. We didn't do any like interesting studies, I think. It's just like pulling out of my mind some general ideas. Kind of worked out. I didn't dislike this actually. I liked it a lot. In the beginning, I was like, wasn't sure what I was doing. Now, I still don't know what I'm doing. But at some point, I just didn't care about what it looked like, and I just tried to experiment. Just trying to figure stuff out for myself. Carving in forms, erasing them, carving in more forms, erasing a bit more here and there, and whatever else, right? It's kind of working. I like this. It's a bit crooked, a bit weird, a bit ugly. But that's the beauty of learning a new skill, isn't it? You get to experience all of this. Ouch. If it could just be connected to a bit less pain, I would be very grateful. Oh well. Everyone bears their own cross, right? Anyway. Take care of yourselves. Maybe check out if there's like a hololive stream. Maybe people will go grind more. I don't know. What did she play? Slay the Spire 2, right? Maybe she'll do that again. I don't know. I have to move away from this spot now. Sit somewhere where it's actually comfortable. Anyway, have a nice rest of your day. And I'll probably see you next time.